something. You got to be starting something. Dude, I'm honestly like so
Yeah, yeah.
hyped. Yeah. I'm so excited for that biopic, dude. I'm so excited.
With his nephew.
With his nephew, dude. Like that is wild
I'm
shit.
okay, so I'm super super excited for it, but I'm also so fucking scared. I'm so
About what?
scared.
Okay,
The,
since we're recording, we're talking about the Michael Jackson biopic. Why are you scared?
I'm scared because Michael had such a controversial lifestyle,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I'm gonna get hate for this, but I honestly don't care because I'm gonna fucking stand by it.
He didn't do it.
He didn't do it.
He didn't fucking do
Michael's
it.
innocent. Michael Jackson's innocent. Dude, that is
You heard it here first.
Dude.
Michael, I think he's still alive, to be honest. That's like the one conspiracy theory I'm with. I think Michael Jackson's alive because he had such a fucked life since day one.
Absolutely.
I would not want to be in the public eye for 50 years or whatever and then keep going. You know what I mean?
Dude,
he seems
my older sister and I, we butt heads all the time, right? Because like just how siblings do.
Dude. I didn't process that you said it was your sister, and you were like, "We fucking." I was like, "You guys fuck."
Ew.
I'm
No,
so
we
sorry.
just like argue constantly all the time. One thing that we can agree on
It's Michael
is
Jackson.
Michael Jackson is innocent.
Dude,
Like we'll
it and here's where I'm at with it. I'm never gonna be the guy that's like, don't listen to the people that are coming out with accusations about whatever.
right.
Like if like when Kevin Spacey's accusers came out, I would never be like they're fucking lying. You know what I mean? Like that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But when there's so much evidence going against what you're saying, when the FBI tails you for 14 years and finds literally nothing,
Well,
I'm
and
like,
if you look at it, all of like the victims that came forward, it's all their parents.
and either that or they were proven to, like the documentary that came out a few years ago, like the 4-hour documentary, those two guys were proven to be lying.
Yeah.
Like everything they said was proven false.
If you ask, the big one is Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman.
Did he come out and say something happened to him, or was he defending Michael like Macaulay
He's
Culkin?
defending Michael because for years
So was Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, so is Macaulay Culkin. Corey Feldman, Macaulay Culkin. If you ask, which I'm not saying if you meet them, do not ask them because it's a very
Yeah.
I can only imagine it's probably the most sore subject. But they both, two of the biggest victims, quote unquote
potential victims,
potential victims on Michael Jackson's, like, I don't know, roster.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah, no.
They will say again and again that Michael was always there for them. Michael, was nothing but kind and helpful to them.
And you know what? Those are the two that don't really need the money. So I'm just saying it's and here's what pisses me off.
And like a lot of, well, okay, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, here's what pisses me off about because I really, after that documentary came out, I was like, fuck, I really want to do my research, so I'm not talking out of my ass.
Right.
Those two guys multiple times under oath said nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Until Michael was dead, and then they had a chance to grab some money. They were like, let's do this. And the documentary is so one-sided. The filmmaker had it out for Michael, and it's just like, that's not objective.
Yeah.
Like, you're the Fox News of documentaries. You're just fucking saying shit because you feel like it. Like, that's not how documentaries should work, in my opinion.
No, it's like Corey Feldman always said that, his parents were the ones that were pushing, I think, and, I don't want to, like, don't quote me on this. It's been a long time since I watched I went down like a rabbit hole and I watched like so many interviews specifically with Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
And so if I'm wrong, please correct me, but so many times he would say that he had this relationship with Michael and his parents were the ones that were pushing this thing that he was a victim, and he was like, no, it wasn't Michael, it was Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
It was some other names that I don't know if I want to drop because they're just really big names, and I don't want to be a podcast that drops those names like that.
That's what I'm saying.
But obviously, I'll drop Harvey Weinstein because it's Harvey Weinstein.
That's not a drop. That's fucking. Yeah. That's like, yeah. It just bothers me because so many people. I shouldn't name drop somebody in my family, but she's like, every time Michael Jackson comes up, she's like pedophile. I'm like, you know what? Where's your evidence? Like that.
Yeah.
That's what happened to innocent until proven guilty. Like what
Thank
happened?
you. Thank
And
you.
again, we're not saying people like the Me Too movement. Like we're not saying like people that come out are always lying or whatever. Like that
Right.
is not what we're saying.
No.
Like that
No, of
happens.
course.
Too many people. 9 times out of 10, they're telling the truth. But like this, in like Michael's such an easy target because he was like kind of quirky
Because
and
he was weird. He was weird, and you know why he was weird? Because he was
up life.
robbed of a childhood. He was
Yeah,
robbed of a life.
he was abused. He was
Yes.
like physically, mentally, verbally. And like you know what? It is
And
weird
think
to like
about
hang out
all the shit like his I don't remember what that the skin
the
disorder he
condition.
had, the
Yeah,
skin,
and
sorry,
everyone's
yes,
like
the
he's
skin condition
bleaching
he
his
had.
skin. He's bleaching his skin. It's like
Yeah, and it's like
no,
you are blaming him and pointing your finger at him,
do
and
a
you know what?
fucking Google search.
When you point at someone, you have three fingers pointing back at you.
And one's pointing at God because God's at fault for everything. Not really. If you're sorry, sorry. I'm just saying Michael Jackson's an easy target, and you know what? Believe what you want to believe. We're not. I would never say that never happened to those people. I'm just gonna say I don't think it did. Just considering all the evidence.
The evidence is overwhelmingly
Yeah,
in another direction of Michael. You know,
dude, that's what I'm saying.
if you actually look into it, it is overwhelmingly
And
that
that's another
he's
thing is
innocent.
people have just like they go on the internet and read this shit and they're like, oh, he's a bad person. It's like if you actually did your research and didn't
Hmm.
just look at Facebook articles, maybe you'd know some more shit. But anyway,
And
oh, go ahead.
well, one more thing, because
Yeah,
we
no,
could
no, go ahead,
clearly you and I can
dude.
dedicate an entire episode,
We
but
should start like an anti those people podcast, like a pro Michael podcast.
and then we'll do like a pro Drake Bell. Now that everything is coming out, that Drake Bell was actually 100% the victim throughout everything,
Yeah, dude.
even the allegations from a few years ago, he was
Did
innocent.
you watch the Nickelodeon documentary
Dude,
yet?
I can't do it. I can't.
I don't know if I'll watch it.
I 100% will
Ugh.
acknowledge that it exists, and I will acknowledge what these young actors went through, and at the end of the day, it's like, well, I can't bring myself to watch
It's
that
tough.
documentary
That's
because
tough.
it's so hard to get through, and also at the same time, I don't think I'm gonna ever bring myself to watch Drake and Josh or iCarly again,
Which sucks.
which sucks because I love
Those
those
shows are
shows, but I will
great.
never ever look at them the same. I will
Yeah.
never be able to look at them the same.
Dude, I saw this thing. This is the last thing I'll say about it. I saw this thing. It was like, oh, we never knew Dan Schneider was into feet. And then I looked at the old Nickelodeon logos and they
It's
were feet.
all feet, and if
I
you
was
look at
like,
like the headquarters, it's feet stuff everywhere.
dude.
And
Same with
if you watch any sort of episode with iCarly or Victorious or Zoe
feet.
101 or the Amanda
Feet
Show, it's
shit.
feet.
Feet shit, dude. Ah,
It's
I
more
love
feet than Quentin
Victorious, by the way.
Tarantino. Like
Victorious is awesome. That's a great show.
I was a little too old. Like I stopped watching iCarly when Victorious came out. You know, I started
Gotcha.
getting too old for iCarly when
Yeah.
Victorious came out. So I never ever got into Victorious.
Dude,
I don't
I
think I even
actually
finished iCarly.
rewatched that show a few years ago, and it actually holds up. It's really funny. But anyway,
Drake and Josh was the only show I ever like watched all the way through. I
a
loved
great one.
Drake and Josh.
It's a
Still, I
great one.
think, which just for the topic of what we were saying, like I still think it's that best Nickelodeon like era, like
Yeah,
the Dan Schneider era, which I hate to
yeah.
say, but like it was the best one. And
It's the
again,
same as like
behind the scenes of that show
Kevin
is
Spacey. Like Kevin Spacey's a fucked up guy, but he can act. You know what I mean? Like there's
it's
nothing.
separating the art from the artist.
Yeah, there's nothing
Like
wrong with.
I still like some Kanye songs.
I was never a big Kanye. I've never liked Kanye, but like I don't think it's wrong to like people are like you still listen to Kanye. It's like
Have
he's a
you okay?
billionaire either way.
I'm not
You know
gonna
what I
go
mean?
down. I'm not gonna go down this rabbit hole because
Yep.
again, like we should dedicate this episode to what we were already planning on doing.
Yep.
But one more thing, and I just want to
Okay.
get like you can just give me a yes or no answer.
Okay. Okay.
But I saw another like conspiracy that the Kanye we have now is not the Kanye from 10, 15 years ago.
Like it's
Or
a
even
different
just
guy.
like a few years ago. Like it's a different guy. Like because Kanye West always said which again, it's Kanye West in the first
He's
place.
fucking nuts.
He's
He's been nuts
always
since
kind of
day
been like
one.
this.
Yeah.
But like now it's like he has grills now. He's almost unrecognizable. And I'm not trying to defend anything. Like I'm not stating my sort of views on anything. All I'm saying is just what it is. But uh
Do I think it's a different guy is what you're asking?
I was watching a video on it, and like I was looking at the comments, and again, it's the comments section,
Yeah.
so who knows, but
Yeah.
all of these comments were like, hey, remember, and like these were all these different people saying the same thing, but it was like, do you remember, however long ago when Kanye said, if I start acting a certain way, it's not me. Or like if you see me do this, like it's not like I'm standing my ground, it's not going to be me. And I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." But also it's
If
Kanye.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he wasn't the way he's always been, I would be like, maybe. But because
Yeah.
he's always been kind of fucked in his head, you know what I mean? And like, he's always been weird. Like, he's always been a weird guy.
He's always been weird, yeah.
I don't think he matters enough to the general public for somebody to like not be him. You know what I mean?
But he started getting, remember, he started getting really political.
Yeah, but think
And
about
he
when that
has that
happened.
influence.
He started getting really political when the world started getting really political as well. Like 2016 was when things just fucking, you know what I mean?
But you didn't see other artists or other celebrities with Hillary or with Biden like you saw Kanye with Trump.
That's because he's an idiot. It's because he's like Kanye is a dumb person. Like him being on the Ellen show, being like, "Yeah, black people chose to be slaves."
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
The
That was
fuck?
fucking
Like
insane.
he's an idiot. Like he's just a stupid guy. But anyway, we're not talking about Kanye or Michael Jackson or whoever else today. We're talking about a big monkey and a little cute guy.
And a little alien guy.
Little
Just a little
alien.
guy.
Little alien. Little guy. And we're talking King Kong.
The
Konga.
original King
The
Kong.
original King Kong and E.T. Hopefully the only E.T. ever, because I doubt they'll ever.
Oh god, I hope so. I'll tell you this. And this was like a rumor going like floating around a little bit when these were like kind of coming back, but there was talk like 10, 15 years ago. There was a lot of talk going around about an ET prequel
Nah,
about the guy with the keys and
nah,
his like previous.
don't
And
need it.
that's the only way I think it could possibly go. If they're like, we want to make another ET movie, which they shouldn't, but if they were to make an ET movie, I would say don't make it ET, make it just in that universe, make it a prequel about the guy with the keys and his previous encounters.
To me, it's just like I don't need anything else from the universe of
No, I
E.T.
don't either.
You know what I mean? It's like we don't need a Jaws prequel about how Jaws came about. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
don't need anything else. Like I don't want any more canon. Like I just
right.
want
The
this is
only
what I care about.
I'll accept one thing as the sequel to ET, and that was that like Comcast commercial. Did you see that?
No.
You haven't seen that? Okay. As soon as we're done recording, look up Comcast ET commercial from a few
Okay.
years ago. It has the actor who plays Elliot,
Oh wow.
and it's like 5 minutes, and it's so sweet. It's
I didn't
so
know that he was the guy from Hill House, The
yeah.
Haunting of Hill
He's the
House.
dad in Hill House.
And have you seen Gerald's Game? Because it's the same director as the Hill House thing.
No, I haven't, but I know what it is with the big guy, the weird guy,
Oh yeah.
the
I
big
was
weird
like,
guy.
what? Yes. I want to read that book because the movie has an interesting premise, but the movie's not very good. But anyway, yeah, it's the same guy in that movie. But anyway, yeah. There's like, have you seen Mac and Me or heard about it?
I've heard about it, and I know the Paul Rudd thing on Conan. Do you know about that?
No. Oh wait, no wait. I don't think I do. I'll watch both of
Okay,
those after
you
the episode.
finish what you're gonna say.
Well, I'm just saying we should both watch Mac and Me and then talk about it because we've never seen it. I've
I
always
don't.
wanted to watch it.
Why? It's literally nothing more than an ET ripoff sponsored by McDonald's.
That sounds so good. That sounds so in a bad way. It sounds incredible. Anyway,
Okay,
let's
well
talk about the movies. Oh, yeah, go
here's
ahead.
the Paul Rudd thing. Here's the Paul Rudd thing. Or maybe I'll just you
Just
know
let me
what?
watch it.
All
Just
I'm
let me
all
watch
I'm gonna tell you is look up Paul Rudd Mac and Me or Paul Rudd on Conan.
it. Okay. Okay.
And like
Cool.
watch all you know what? I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you.
All right, send it to
Like,
me.
yeah, I'll send
Have
it
you
to you.
seen the Will Ferrell thing where he shaves Conan's beard?
No.
Conan has a beard, which is not very normal, and he's talking. Will Ferrell's on the couch, and in
Hmm.
the middle of a sentence, Will Ferrell goes, "Will you shut the fuck up?" And he starts yelling about his beard, and he makes him let him shave his beard. It is so fucking
Oh
hilarious.
my
And
gosh.
like the blue stuff that they keep the combs in at like hairstylist
Yeah,
places?
yeah, yeah.
He drinks it. He fucking Will Ferrell
Oh
drinks it.
god.
Anyway, let's talk
Okay.
about. We're 15 minutes in. Let's talk about the movies
Oh my
from this
gosh, we're
month.
15 minutes in.
Woo! All right, let's talk about ET first.
Okay.
How's that sound?
So this was, just to clarify, this was another, we haven't done this in a while. This was another thing where Parker gave me a movie to watch that I hadn't seen, which was the 1933, is it?
33.
1933 King Kong.
33.
Because I have only seen the 70s one with Jeff Bridges, and then obviously the Jack Black one, and then the Monsterverse, whatever.
Yeah.
And I had Parker watch E.T. because he loves Spielberg and he has never seen E.T.,
I had never
which
seen it.
I do not. I genuinely, I'm not trying to gatekeep, but how do you love Spielberg as much as you do and
Well,
you hadn't watched E.T.?
like I said, I didn't love Spielberg, or at least I didn't know that I loved Spielberg, and I didn't know that Spielberg was in charge of so many good things until a few years ago. Like once I
But
started
like
finding
Jaws is
out,
like one of your, Jaws is what, your second favorite movie?
but I didn't know about. I'd never seen Jaws till a few years ago. So I didn't know that Spielberg was like the guy. I didn't
Mhm.
know that he and
And
John
he
Williams did
produced
all
Back
these
to the Future.
movies. Yeah, I didn't know. I had no idea. I knew who he was, but I didn't know that he was in charge and at fault or whatever for all these incredible movies. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's his
Um,
fault.
it's his fault. It's his
Fucking
fault we have great movies.
Spielberg giving us nothing but
Spielberg,
quality.
bitch ass, Jew guy. I'm sorry.
Oh
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Spielberg, if you're listening, I love you. Anyway, so yeah, I watched ET for the first time. Um, and I couldn't remember if I'd seen it as a kid or not because I was.
Okay.
It's one of those movies that I was like, maybe I did.
Yeah.
I didn't remember anything, so I don't think I'd ever seen it ever in my entire life.
Wow.
So yeah, do you have any questions for me before I get into it?
Okay, so what were you expecting going in? Were you expecting it to be like The Goonies, where it's just nothing but a family adventure comedy? Because
No,
it's
because
so much more than that.
I knew it was sad at one part because I think I knew that spoilers that ET died, but I think I thought that he died because I remembered hearing it somewhere.
It
But I
was
wasn't
probably
100%
here.
sure. Probably,
It was
but I
probably from
wasn't
me.
yeah, it probably was, but I wasn't 100% sure. I was like, oh, we didn't clap. Fuck.
It's
That's
fine.
okay. It's fine. But yeah, I was just like, I don't exactly know what I'm getting myself into. Um, so yeah, I knew it was gonna be a little more because the Goonies has heart, but a little more sad than the Goonies.
Hmm.
And it
It's more
definitely
of a
is.
drama.
It's a little bit more of a
Like
drama, yeah,
the sad parts in the Goonies aren't like
in your
they're
face.
yeah. It's just kind of like, hey, we need to change the tone a little bit so that
It's
the
it's more like
adventure
I
feels more
feel
fun.
sad for the characters as opposed to I'm sad.
Sure, that's perfect way. That's a
You
perfect
know what
way
I
of
mean?
explaining
Like
it. Yep.
I hate in the Goonies that they're gonna lose the house, but like that's the plot, right? But like
Hmm.
it's a different kind of sad with ET. And I didn't really realize that that was kind of upfront. Because like I was expecting like a cute summer blockbuster, which it is, but
Yeah,
it's
it was in
way more
theaters
than
for like
that.
over a year.
That's insane. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
because keep in mind this is before streaming, and
Yeah, of course.
so
And yeah, I was expect there was a lot less cute and funny stuff than I thought there was going to be. I
yeah,
thought that was mostly the movie, but it's really not. It's
no.
really just a portion of it, like a small portion. And I'll get to some of my favorite parts, but what other questions do you have for me?
So when he did die at the end of the movie, did you think that was it? Did you think
Yes,
Elliot
yeah,
saying,
I didn't know he came back. I didn't know.
"Really,
I
dude"?
was like, fuck.
That's okay. So as some coming from someone who had watched this movie, when they were very young, who grew up with this movie,
Yep.
I wasn't really crying when ET died because I kind of always knew. I mean, well, this is like Star Wars, where I don't necessarily remember the first time I watched it,
Mm-hmm. You
but
just know. You
I
just
just
know.
know. But I do remember there was a certain age where I was watching the movie and I had already watched it, but I had reached the age, I was maybe like, I don't know, 7 or something.
Mhm.
So I was at the
Mhm.
age where I was able to actually like really understand the movie.
Yeah.
And when he died, I didn't cry because I knew he was coming back. But when Elliot sees the flower sprout up again, and then
Yeah.
he opens it up and ET is like, ET phone home,
Yeah, yeah,
I that's what made me start crying because I was like, he's back, he's back.
yeah.
And then the ending, man, when Elliot says
Yeah.
goodbye to ET, that honestly, I don't think I can watch that without crying.
It's
In all
hard, and
honesty.
it's all the kid's performance. I mean, he
Oh,
is
yes.
have you seen the clip of him getting the part?
Yes! And
So
Spielberg
good.
is like, "All right, kid, you got the job."
So good. That is, like, such a cool
Incredible,
moment. Such a
yes.
cool moment to have captured, like, that's so cool.
Oh,
Um
100%, 100%. Like, I
Yeah.
did theater. I mean, I'm not saying I'm on the same level as this kid actor, but, like, I have some acting experience. I did theater. I've
Mhm.
made short films.
Yeah.
I still have no idea how to cry on command like that. That is
Yeah,
insane.
and here's what I've always said about any form of art or anything that takes talent, like, I think to really be good at something, you need talent,
Mhm.
but you have to it's like clay. It's like you can practice molding clay and get kind of good at it. But if you don't have the clay, it's going to be really hard and it's not going to be as good.
It's
If
something that,
you've
like,
got the clay,
anyone can do it,
yeah,
but
you
it's
need
it's
that
almost
sauce.
it's almost like, the whole Ratatouille thing, like,
Yeah. Anyone
what is it, Gustav?
No, it's fuck, it's not Gustavo. It's something like that though. Big Time
The
Rush, you
the
know.
chef.
Yeah, I know. I fuck, what's his name? I gotta look it
Is
up.
it
Keep
not
talking.
Gustav? But he says his cooking book, anyone can cook.
Yeah.
And the fact that the food critic is like, "Ah, no one, like, not everyone can," he took it as everyone can cook. And that's not what
Yeah.
he meant. He didn't mean that everyone can cook. He meant that a cook could be anyone.
Gusto.
Gusto, thank you. The
Gusto.
cook, but you know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
anyone can act. It's not everyone can act,
Yeah.
but it can be anyone,
Yeah,
you know?
I think you've got to, whether it's music, art, like drawing, painting, acting, singing, whatever, like you've got to have something to start with.
Mhm.
You've got like to really master your craft. You've got to have that something. And that's a prime example of like that kid just had it. Like that
Yeah,
kid just had something. And acting classes helped him mold, or if he took acting classes, whatever, helped him mold that talent
right.
into a skill. But like I feel like some people just have raw talent, and you can tell. You can just
Yeah.
absolutely tell. So yeah, that kid's incredible. Drew Barrymore was awesome. She was surprisingly really good.
Super funny.
Super funny, super
When
cute, super sad.
when she, like, gets home from school, and obviously, when they introduced her to ET, that was super funny, screaming in
Yeah,
his face, and then,
yeah. When he started
when
screaming,
they when they push her into the closet, and then she turns around, sees him, and screams, and then
yeah,
Michael, the older brother, grabs her, runs away, and then you just see ET, "Eh,"
yeah.
like,
That's
it's
another
so
thing.
funny.
I didn't know there was an older brother. I thought it was just those two.
Oh, really?
So when the older brother was introduced, I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" I was like, "There's no way he's important." Then he was, and I was
But
like, "Oh,
his friend is C. Thomas Howell. Is
who's that?"
that is that is that his name? C. Thomas Howell? I feel like
I don't know.
I thought of it, and then as soon as I said it out loud, I was like, that doesn't sound right.
I don't know.
He was a. Have you ever seen, like, he's have you ever seen The Outsiders? He's Pony Boy.
Yeah, no, Pony Boy.
C. Thomas Howell, yeah, Pony Boy from The Outsiders, or what's his name from Red Dawn? The
I
guy
haven't
that
seen Red
always.
Dawn.
Oh man,
Dude, The
oh, the
Outsiders is a
original.
great movie.
Outsiders is
Um.
awesome. The original Red Dawn, that was also super, super fucking good.
Oh, okay, yeah, dude, this guy is in everything.
He
I know
was, yeah.
him from The Amazing Spider-Man.
I was gonna say he's the dad on the bridge in the Amazing
Dude,
Spider-Man.
this guy's been in fucking everything. That's
He
crazy.
he was an '80s actor as a teen, and then he kind of started becoming a character actor.
That's right. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I did realize it was him, but I didn't know what I knew him from. I just knew I knew him.
Gotcha,
I
gotcha.
loved the practical effects. I think they were awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Did you watch a special edition of it? Like was there a scene where ET like almost drowns in the bathtub
I
or
don't think so.
something? No,
I don't think
okay.
so.
Cuz I watched that once and it was so weird. It was like this it was like watching the special edition of Star Wars where it was all this CGI. Like they had ET be CGI and I was like,
Ugh,
this is weird. Even as a
no,
kid, I was like, I don't like this.
no. I didn't watch that. The 4K looks really good though.
Ooh, I
Um,
bet. I bet.
thanks to Universal for sending it to me. That was really nice.
Oh man, Universal send me shit, please.
Dude, I've only gotten 2 things, and I want more because like Andrew gets like Arrow Video stuff sent to him. I'm like, how? But anyway, we'll figure that out. We need stuff sent to us to review,
Yeah.
like screeners and stuff. But yeah, no, I thought the movie was great. Let me read you my review because I in my review. Oh, do you want to know what I rated it? Do you remember what I
Yeah.
rated it?
Did you give it 5?
5 stars, baby.
Yeah.
5 stars.
Dude, it is 5 out of 5,
Great
100%.
movie. It's
It
I
was
wouldn't
in my
change a
top
thing.
10. It was in my top 10 for a long fucking time. And then just kind
Wow.
of as I got older and my taste started to change a little bit, I was like, "Okay, ET will always and forever have a special place in my heart. It's going to be
Yeah.
one of the first movies that I ever show my children." But when it comes to, my favorite movies, it's just not up there anymore.
Yeah, and I get it. But it's probably in my top like 100. You know what I mean? But I
It's definitely in my
also
top 20.
so I'll say this was my review. I said I don't think I've ever actually seen this. I said John Williams is that fucking guy,
Oh my god,
dude.
yes.
He makes that movie. And
Dude.
have you seen the clip at the Oscars where Spielberg is like, "This is what our movies are like before John Williams does his thing," and they show the bike scene without the music, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay,
Oh,
cool,
that
right?
music though. As soon as the bike takes off,
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll
I'm
get
getting
there.
goosebumps just thinking about it.
I said where Steven Spielberg decides to put the camera is always so inventive and engrossing. E.T. is, as most early Steven Spielberg movies are, is perfect. However, it didn't quite live up to the expectations. How could it though? My whole life I've heard about how incredible this film is. I still think it's perfect though. I will absolutely enjoy this more and more the more I watch it. This is a prime example of movie magic. And
So
it is.
so I guess what were you expecting?
I have a really hard time with separating a lot of movies I've seen I haven't seen until later on in life.
Mhm.
And so like I've heard about these movies my entire The Matrix, E.T., Inception, like even Star Wars. Like I've heard about these movies my entire life. I'm expecting them to be just incredible and I have an expectation not only of how good they're going to be but of what they are
Mhm.
because you subconsciously build up this picture and idea of this thing that you haven't seen forever. Like I just had
Yeah.
an idea of what it would be, and when it's not what that is, it feels like it didn't live up to expectations. But then the more I watch it, the more I get it. Same like with Star
Gotcha.
Wars. First time I watched A New Hope, I was like, really? That's it? Like that's what everybody's freaking the fuck over about? Like, but the more I watched it and the more I got into Star Wars, and then of course seeing Return of the Jedi in theaters for the first time ever, like that
Yeah.
was like, I get it. Like, and that's the same with ET. Like, I think the next time I watch it, I'll love it even more because
Yeah.
I now know what it is. I have reasonable expectations. I know exactly what this is. I don't have 20 years of an expectation built up waiting while watching this.
Mhm.
So that's the only reason I said it didn't live up to expectations. Not in terms of quality, just in terms of what it was.
Gotcha.
You
Okay,
know what I
I
mean?
get
It was
it.
just different. It was just different than what I thought it was going to be. Same with
Sure.
Inception. I'm trying to think of what else. But yeah, so we can get to the bicycle scene because I don't have a ton else to say about it. I think I will the more I watch it. Like
Mhm.
I think this is one of those movies I'm just going to fall more and more in love with the more I watch it.
Mhm.
That's how I feel about a lot of Spielberg movies. Like I said, the first time I watched Jaws, that's another one. I was like, really? This is the movie,
Oh,
everyone? You
man.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have given it like a 6. You know what I mean? And then I
Wow.
saw it in the theater in IMAX, and I was like, and that's it's not to say that the theater experience made the movie for me, but it helps.
And it's probably because when you're in the theater, there's nothing else you're paying attention to.
Yeah, I can't get on my phone. I mean, you could, but you're a piece of shit if you do.
Yeah.
Like there were people like I was seeing it with people that had never seen it before, and so like when they was scary, they jumped, and that was
Yeah.
so exciting for me. And like seeing like this, and then the second time I saw it, it moved up to my second favorite movie of all time. So
Yeah,
it's just like that's how I am with expectations. It's super hard when you've heard about something your whole life and builds it up in your head. Um,
I get it.
so yeah. But the bike scene, are you serious? Like, come on, dude. I've seen it before. I've seen the clip,
Well, it's the
but
Amblin logo.
yeah, and it's just it's oh my god, when that bike lifts up, dude. Even though I knew exactly what was gonna happen, I was like, holy shit, this is magical. Like
It's so magical.
that's the only word to describe it. It's magic.
Yes,
It's movie
absolutely.
magic. It's incredible, and like this is one of those movies, again, Spielberg, that like is is going to be a part of cinema forever because it's important, it's iconic, and everybody loves it. Like it's just one of those
Mm-hmm.
things. Like E.T., Jaws, Star Wars, Alien, like The Godfather, like it's up there with those movies that nobody will ever forget
Mm-hmm.
because it's just one of the best. Um Across the board. Like just it does everything right, you know? And I
Yeah.
think that's why it's incredible.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I love that. I love that you loved it. I'm so happy you loved it. Um, so one thing that I love, love, love about the ending is when the government like kind of takes over and like tarps the whole house, you know?
Yeah.
And when ET is dying and so Elliot is dying because they're connected.
Mhm.
And when Elliot is laying there, and I don't remember the guy's name. I don't think he has a name. I think he's just the guy with the keys or something like that. But when he's talking to Elliot,
Mhm.
when Elliot is laying there, yeah, no, his name is just Keys in the movie. So
Jeez.
so when Elliot is laying there and Keys is standing there with him holding his hand, talking to him, and
Mhm.
he's like, I've been looking for him like ever since I was your age. I've been waiting for this. But you know what? I'm glad he found you first. Like you did something you handled him better than anyone possibly could have.
Yeah.
And that I love. I
So good.
just cuz it's so easy for them to just have the government bad guy, even though he's not the bad guy, but he seems like he's going to be the bad guy. So it's so easy to play that
Yeah.
stereotype where he's like interrogating Elliot, like, what did he tell you?
Yeah.
Like, how were you able to talk to him? How were you able to connect with him?
Where
And
is
it's,
she?
where is she? And it's not like that. It's not
Yeah.
like that. He's like, I'm glad he found you first. I
Yeah.
like, help me help him,
Yeah.
you know?
Magic. Movie magic, baby.
Yeah.
That's one of those movies. It's just
No,
magical.
it's so great. And so I remember I told you this, but I'm just gonna say this on the
Yeah.
podcast. I made the terrible mistake of watching ET
Oh yeah.
like, I don't know, a day or so after my dog had died.
Bad idea.
That was a bad fucking idea. I don't think I've
Terrible
ever
idea.
cried harder in a movie because this was like my childhood dog.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I was 13
Dude.
when we had to put him down, and it's, and I'm always gonna remember that dog. His name was Tank.
Yeah.
He was an American bulldog, and I have his fucking tag on my keys.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna stay with me forever. But yeah,
Animals
watching
hurt as
ET.
much as people, dude. Like it's not like people that
Oh,
don't get it. Like just it's. I can't imagine watching ET after losing a dumb animal,
dude,
dude. Like that sounds
dude,
horrible.
my I lost my first grandparent after I lost my dog. So losing my dog was the first time I'd ever experienced loss like that.
Like death. Yeah. That's
And
hard.
it yeah, no, you're absolutely right that losing a dog or even for some people losing a cat,
Yeah.
it's the same level as losing
It's
because
part of you, dude. That's part
it's
of you.
because you're losing a family member.
Yeah.
You are
Absolutely.
losing a family member,
You're losing a family member that you get mad at the least. You know, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, but anyway, like
And even when you do get mad at them, 10
it's like
minutes later, you're like, all right, come on.
I
You're like, give me.
wish you touched me like that. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's. I want you to wake me up.
Yeah, when I come
Um,
over, when I finally come over,
yeah, when you come over.
when we finally make that happen, I'll just like I'll be walking out of the plane and I'm just like
Dude, we got to make New York Comic Con this year happen. We got it. It's in
Dude, I
October.
have so
It's in
much shit
October.
going on this year. I just don't know if I can afford it.
We'll figure that out. We gotta start making money on here. But I'll say it. We're building up since we've been posting regularly again.
Hmm.
Listeners are starting to come up again. But anyway, yeah, ET
Which,
banger.
thank you.
Thank you for listening. We
Thank you
appreciate you
for
so
listening.
much.
We love
If you're
you.
still here. I texted Michael, by the way, Michael Vogel. I said, Broen and I are booking you on a day in 2025 when Superman comes out, just so you know. Because he and I were texting about something, or like not texting. I don't have his phone number. But yeah, I'm very.
Wait, did he say anything?
He didn't say anything to that because we were messaging for a second, but I think he like had to go to work or something. But he hasn't seen that text yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, ET was great. I'm so glad I finally seen it. It's one that I can check off the box. I think it's on my movie poster list because I have like one of those scratch off movie posters.
Oh, the IMDb scratch off one?
No, it's just like 100 movies to watch. Like
Oh, I
before
thought
you
it was
die.
the IMDb top 250 that you.
No. It's just like 100, and like it's got a bunch of big movies on there. A lot of them I haven't seen. But ET
Yeah.
I can scratch off.
Nice.
And I'm so glad I've seen it. It's awesome. The score is
Beautiful. One of his best, honestly.
what? Yeah, for sure. One of his best. 100%. It's up. It's like top 5 for sure.
Yeah. Well, and
So yeah.
I think it was nominated.
I'm sure it was.
It
Oh,
goes
I'm
okay.
sure that's
So
when.
it won best sound, best visual effects, best sound effects, and then Williams won best score for it, which
Nice.
is amazing. It was nominated for best picture. It was nominated for best director. It was nominated for best original screenplay, best cinematography, and blessed best editing.
Stay blessed. That's awesome. Yeah, it deserves all those. Yeah, it's great. It's a perfect movie. I love it.
It really is a perfect movie. It really,
I
really
love it.
is.
I like it a lot.
And like we were saying before, it's one of those movies. Don't fucking touch it.
Don't
Don't
touch it.
touch it. We don't
And
need a sequel. We don't need a reboot.
Jeff on the hot mic was saying that like there are talks of like a Goonies reboot, and I was like, don't do it.
There's been talks of a Goonies reboot for the past like 10 years. I don't think it's gonna happen.
He's saying it's like getting serious, and I was just like, don't,
Ah.
just don't leave it.
A
Leave it.
reboot
dude.
or a sequel? Because I heard a sequel.
I think he was saying like they were talking about like doing it again. So I don't remember, but he was.
I heard there was a sequel and they were like getting Corey Feldman in on it. They were getting
Dude, I want to see Corey Feldman live. You know he does music now.
yeah, he's weird.
It's bad.
But
it is bad. But anyway, at any rate, dude, I hate.
it's
when people
full
say
circle
that.
talking about Corey Feldman.
Yeah, I fucking hate when people say it at any rate. That just pisses me off. I don't know why. Pet
Huh?
peeve. When people are like, instead of being like anyway, when they go at any rate, people say
Oh,
that.
I've never heard that.
Never, dude. I heard it today. I thought about it. I was like, I fucking hate that, dude.
No, I've never heard that.
Ah, are you joking?
No. At any
All
rate,
right, all right. At any rate, yeah. Oh, I'm just thinking about it. I get so bad.
I say anywho. Be
That's
like anywho.
fine. But dude, I have like 100 pet peeves that we'll talk about at some point on the podcast. But
No. So do I. It's like instant anger.
yeah, it's just like, I was so happy 5 seconds ago. I could shoot you now. But anyway, you wouldn't understand that. I had a high school teacher or a middle school teacher named Mr. Hall, and he'd always like zone out during his talking. He'd be like, anyway. Always, dude.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
friends with him
that's
on Facebook.
awesome.
But let's talk about Le Monk, Le Big Monk.
Le
Mr.
Monk
Kong.
Grande.
All right, I'll just say this. I love this movie. I haven't seen it in a while, and I started to rewatch it the other night so I could be refreshed on it. And I only got like 5 minutes in because things got busy. But because I haven't seen it in a few years. But I will say, before you say anything,
Okay.
to be gentle, because this movie arguably made me fall in love with movies.
To be gentle, what do you think I'm going to say? This movie sucks. The stop
I don't
motion
know,
was
I don't
shitty.
know.
The acting was shitty. The dialogue was
As
shitty.
I was watching it, I was like, I could see him. I could see him. Not what?
It's 1930s, dude. I fucking loved it. I loved it.
Oh, you loved it?
I loved it.
Yes!
Because okay. So I vividly remember when the Peter Jackson King Kong movie came out.
You were 5?
I was 5 or 6, and my whole family went to go see it.
That's awesome.
But not me.
Oh.
Like,
that's not awesome.
They all went to go see it, and like my mom, my dad, my sister. I think even they brought my cousins, and they all went to go see it.
Damn, dude, you you got beat out by the cousins, dude.
I
That's so
know. Well, it's because they were
devastating.
older than me, and so they all just wanted to go see the new King Kong movie. And because I was
Sad.
too young, even though I wanted to see it, even though I knew I could handle it, because I had seen Jurassic Park, and that's basically what this is Peter Jackson's answer to Jurassic Park in a
Yeah.
sense. But I remember it came out, and I went to go stay with my grandma, rest in
Mhm.
peace, and and she took me to Blockbuster and rented the Jeff Bridges one. And so while my parents were watching the new King Kong, I was at her house with her watching the 1970s King Kong.
That one I still haven't seen.
I would love to revisit it because I have
Mhm.
a very fond memory of it because of that, but I don't think I've watched it since.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
know from what I've heard and from like clips I've seen, I know it's not good.
Yeah, we should
And
talk
it's
about it.
also
We should watch it and talk about it.
it's very different
Okay.
because in
Yeah, I think that's what Andrew was saying is they changed the plot up a little bit.
because it's not because that was another thing I wanted to point out is because I love the Peter Jackson one. I
Oh,
love the Peter Jackson one.
so good.
All 3.5 hours of it,
Underrated. Underrated.
dude. I love the director's cut of it. Like
I
I
don't know if I've ever
love.
seen that cut. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I've ever
Well, I
seen that
think
one.
I remember we talked about it. Do you remember a scene with the giant fish where
I've
when they were in the
seen that
swamp?
scene, but I don't think I've seen it while watching the movie.
Gotcha.
So I don't think I've seen the director's cut.
Okay. I don't know if it's
That
like
scene
the
is
director's
crazy.
cut, but maybe it's just the extended edition because it's Peter
Gotcha.
Jackson.
Gotcha.
This is the guy that made the Lord of the Rings. But
Yeah.
but the very clearly immediately as soon as the movie started, I was like, Peter Jackson loves this movie.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh,
his
you
movie.
mean when you were watching the original?
When I was watching the original,
Gotcha.
I was like, Peter Jackson clearly loves this movie because I remember the Peter Jackson one very well because, like I said, I absolutely love that movie. I've seen it a bunch of times. I really, really do love it.
Yeah.
Uh, it's clearly it's very similar to this one.
Yeah.
It's night and day. Like they
Yeah.
are. It's the reboot was very much just more of a love letter
Yeah,
to
and
this
like
one.
what can I do to expand this like with
Yeah.
today's technology kind of
And
thing.
and one thing that I immediately that I noticed is when they got to the island, when they got to Skull Island and they see all the natives and they're doing their ritual dances and stuff, the music and the moves that they're doing in that dance is the music and moves that the dance moves that they were doing at the end of the movie when Jack Black's character Carl is doing the show for everyone.
I didn't realize that. I
You
didn't
know,
know that.
dude, watch them because again, I don't remember. I actually do. It's probably been a couple of years at least since no I watched the Peter Jackson King Kong within the last year. I feel like,
Mhm.
but because I've seen it so many times, there's certain things that about that movie that are just kind of like
Yeah.
fried into my brain, and one
Yeah.
of those things is just the music
Mm.
and I mean this is so random. Like there's no reason that I should remember this as much as I do or as well as I do, but when Carl, again Jack Black's character at the end of the movie is presenting Kong, the eighth wonder of the world, he is he does he has actors on stage doing that dance,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
the natives.
Yeah.
In the dance that they do, the music that they dance to is the same music, the same dance moves that they were doing in the actual
That's
natives
awesome.
on Skull Island in the
That's
original.
awesome.
So instantly I was like, I love this. Like
Yeah.
can clearly see.
Oh,
I
I'm
can
so glad you loved it. I'm so glad you loved it. Oh man, and it's like a quick watch too. Like it's an hour
Oh,
and 40.
it's an hour. Yeah, it was an hour
It
40.
doesn't even feel like it. It's
I
just
watched
like,
it while I was building Legos.
yeah, dude.
Like,
Oh man, and it's so iconic. It's so important. Like, and this is one of the movies that like inspired Spielberg, which I love.
yeah.
Like he talks about King Kong a lot. He talks about the shot where he looks into the window in the Empire State Building
Oh
or the
yeah.
apartment, and he talks about that shot. He was like, that shot scared the shit out of me, and that's what inspired one of the Jurassic Park shots.
Mhm.
which I just love. I think it's so cool.
Dude, it was watching this movie. I wasn't expecting it to be as or I guess I should say how similar the Peter Jackson one is to this one.
Oh yeah, it's like
And
it's like shot for shot sometimes
yeah, and so I'm
in a
watching
good
this and
way.
I'm like
In a
in
good way.
in such a good way because I'm
Yeah,
watching this movie from 1933.
yeah,
This is before World War II.
yeah,
I'm watching this movie and I'm like, they're doing this, they're pulling this shit off in the 30s.
yeah.
You know, does it
It's
look
so inventive.
yeah, is does it not does it look bad compared to today? Sure.
Yeah, of
But
course.
did I let that, get in the way of me enjoying the movie? Not even a little bit.
Yeah,
Not
dude,
even a little bit.
I'm so happy you love it. I started and I was like, I think I just started questioning it. I was like, I'm worried he's not gonna love this. I'm so glad you loved it, dude.
No,
And
I'm going to have a whole new appreciation
oh,
for the Peter Jackson one.
dude, we should watch. You should rewatch, and I'll watch for the first time the Jeff Bridges one, and we should do like a ranking. But dude, there are like 15 King Kong movies. Like
I've
there's
seen
just
I've seen quite a bit of them too.
so
It's so
many
funny.
spin-offs.
Dude, looking back on it, there was a point in time where my dad and I were watching King Kong movies, Godzilla movies. We never watched this one.
Yeah,
We just watched the ones that he grew up with watching. Like one of the ones we watched was the sequel to the Jeff Bridges one with Kong's son.
Son of Kong. Is that the one? Because I know there's a Son of Kong, but I don't know if it's a sequel to the original or the Jeff
So
Bridges one.
yeah, the with the white one with the like albino ape,
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I just
because
saw
I
the
know that
poster.
that is the sequel to this one.
Okay.
But there, I don't know what I think it's like called Kong Lives
Yeah.
because they give him like an artificial heart
Okay.
in
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I
Well.
also think in the 70s one, I think the ending isn't on the Empire State. I think it's on the one of the Twin Towers.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's also not a film crew that goes to Skull Island. They're going for like oil, I think.
Yeah, that's what Andrew said. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is so weird. Like I love the idea that they're going to shoot a movie. Like that's my favorite.
Yeah.
thing. Like they're going to take this risk to shoot a fucking movie. Like that's awesome because
Mhm.
it gives the characters like passion. Like it makes Carl, who is kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
If you really think about it,
Risking
gives
all
him
these lives just to make the movie
just to make his fucking movie
yeah.
and to make a like to prove himself essentially.
Mhm.
Especially in the Peter Jackson one, like he's kind of a manipulator. Like he's not a cool guy. And like, but still, you like respect his passion for making movies, and it's like, oh, it's so cool. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
One line of dialogue that was said that literally made me laugh so hard because I was like, "Oh, the 30s."
What was it?
It was Anne and Jack
Yeah.
were talking on the ship, and I think this was in between. They had already visited Skull Island, but this was before Anne gets kidnapped
Gotcha.
by the natives. So they're talking and they're kind of like slowly confessing their love to each other, and Jack like confesses his love, and Anne goes, "But Mr. Driscoll, you hate women." I was like, "What?"
I mean, he does. You know what I mean?
Or
that,
you know
that
what?
was one of my like things because I haven't seen it in a few years. I don't know the last time I watched it, to be honest, even though it's one of my favorites. I was rewatching, like I said, and I didn't get that far, but I remember all of them being like, "There shouldn't be a woman here. Women are stupid." Like, I was
Yeah, well, dude, and that's another thing that Peter Jackson did is in the movie, Anne is talking to the captain, and she's like, "I've never been on a ship before," and he's like, "I've never been on one with a woman before,"
yeah,
and they filmed that scene for the movie that they're making in the Peter Jackson movie
yeah.
because the what's the actor's name that plays the lead actor in the what's his name?
The
What's his
Peter
name?
Jackson one. I
In
don't
the
know.
Peter Jackson one,
I know him. I
Kyle
just don't know his
Chandler,
name.
who plays
Gotcha.
Bruce Baxter, the actor.
Yeah.
Like Kyle Chandler plays an actor who is the lead star of
Yep.
Jack Black's movie,
Yep.
Carl Denham's movie, and they're filming that scene
Mm-hmm.
from the 30s. You know,
Yeah.
with
So
that
cool.
dialogue, and I'm like, see,
So cool.
that's how you pay homage to a movie that was made
Yeah.
in a very conflicting time.
Yeah, and that is how you remake a movie. That
Hmm.
is a perfect example. Is you don't remake it just to remake it. You remake it and use somebody that loves the movie. You
Hmm.
remake it with
You make it as a love letter.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like and they've done that a few like I would say there are chunks of the Godzilla 2014 movie that do that do care about the original.
Hmm.
And especially in Godzilla minus one. That is how you
Yeah.
do a fucking remake, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, like that movie, like you can tell they love Godzilla. And that's important. Um and I think you could potentially say the same for like Ghostbusters, like with the afterlife and then the new one or whatever. Like
Hmm.
there's just a difference. But God, I'm so glad you liked it. Yeah, we gotta rank King Kong movies. Out of out of the 3 or 4, where would you put it? The original.
Well, I think I still would say that the Peter Jackson one is my favorite.
Yeah, which is fair.
Um, and when it comes to rewatchability, I'd probably then put Kong Skull Island.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to just like a movie,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like, okay, so if I were to rank them just purely based on like rewatchability or enjoyment, I would probably say Peter Jackson, Kong Skull Island, the original, and then the 70s one. But when
Yeah.
it comes to just like appreciation for what it is, or like what movie would I, if I could only keep two of these movies, I would
Yeah.
probably keep the Peter Jackson one and the original.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I really do like Skull Island for what it is.
Because it's different. It is not the same movie.
It's different, but I
It's
wish it
almost not a
wasn't.
King Kong movie.
Yeah, that's like my problem with it. It's like I wish it wasn't so different because
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of the differences are going against it. Um,
I think the differences are what save it, only because the movie came out in 2017. 12 years ago, we got the Peter Jackson one.
yeah.
For there to be a 12-year
Damn, dude, that
gap,
movie's almost 20 years old. Holy shit!
yeah,
Next year.
yeah,
Oh man,
and it
sorry.
still
Ooh, maybe
looks
they'll put it.
amazing.
It does. Maybe they'll put it in theaters again. That'd be great. I would love to see that
I
movie
would
in
love
theaters.
to see it in theaters. Oh my IMAX.
Speaking of, are you gonna go see all the Spider-Man movies in theaters?
No, I don't think so, because Sony is a bunch of bitches and they're only showing one movie on one day for one time.
Oh, really? I thought it was
Yeah.
like one's gonna be out for a week, and
No, it
then the
was
next
like
one's gonna be out for a
this
week.
day and then this day and then this day, and I looked at it and it's only like one time. And
Fuck,
Spider-Man
dude.
2, which is my favorite, which is honestly, I would really kind of only go to watch the first two, the Tobey Maguire ones, because those are the only two that I don't think I saw the original Spider-Man because I was 2 when that movie came out. I know I saw Spider-Man 2 in the theater. I do remember that. But because I don't actually remember watching it in the theater, I just know I did. Those
Mm-hmm.
are the only two I was kind of like, those are the only two I kind of only cared about seeing.
I want to see the Amazing Spider-Man 2 in theaters because I
Ooh.
remember so vividly the opening, or not the opening, but like the good opening part
Well,
in
and
theaters.
did you wait? So you did see it in theaters when it came
I
out?
did, but
Okay.
I was 12.
I also sort of, I guess, still am kind of considering seeing Amazing Spider-Man 2 in the theater, literally only for that Times Square scene
Oh,
with Electro.
oh,
Dude, when I saw that in the theater, I could feel it.
oh.
I could
That
feel
movie.
it.
We could do an entire episode on why that movie could have been the best Spider-Man movie ever
We
made.
should.
We should.
Let's have that be our next episode.
Let's do it. Let's
Like
fucking do it.
I'll be so down to revisit that movie and talk about why it gets too much hate and why
Oh,
it needs to be watched through a different lens and what it could have been, and
oh,
acknowledging, we'll definitely acknowledge why it's hated.
issues. It's
You
got
know, we'll
issues.
acknowledge its issues. It's not a perfect movie, but I definitely think it's overhated.
Yeah. It is. It's got way more going for it than it's got going against it. That's all I'm
I
gonna
agree.
say.
I agree.
Anyway, I'm so glad you love King Kong. Oh wait, what would you rate King Kong out of just like solid, like in terms of
Probably
what
like a
you
4 out of 5, or four and a
nice,
half, 4.5 out of 5. Maybe.
nice. Oh, that's so good.
Um,
I'm so glad you loved it.
Another thing that just made me laugh was in in the Peter Jackson one when they're crossing the trench on the tree and then King Kong comes and shakes them all off. It's a
Mhm.
horrific scene.
Yeah.
When they all fall, and it's sad because Andy Serkis uh with his friend, the Chinese guy.
Yeah.
And I say Chinese because I'm almost certain he's Chinese, so don't
He is,
fucking come
yeah.
at me.
Yeah, you're
He's
not like
definitely he was definitely
with
Chinese.
the goddamn kung flu and the goddamn
No.
Chinaman.
I'm just tired of people like, oh yeah, that's Chinese. Like Jackie Chan is Chinese. It's like, oh, you just assume that he's automatically Chinese. No, he
No, he
fucking
is
is
Chinese.
Chinese.
Some people are Chinese. Some of them are. China makes people.
Too much. I'm just kidding.
No,
Whoa,
no.
whoa, whoa. No, so uh that scene is sad,
Yeah.
because you're watching all of the characters fall and you're like, wow, this is a devastating scene. In the original, when it gets to that scene, which was one of those scenes that I was not expecting to see in the original, I'm like, wow,
Oh yeah.
watching this scene in modern day, like in the Peter Jackson one, you would think that would just be a scene that was created in modern day. No, that was a scene in the original.
Yep.
And it's and watching it though, where they show every single character falling to their death and they're like a rag doll, like bouncing off of the ground. It was so funny.
It's kind of
Or
like Temple of Doom where they fall off the bridge and like the guy
yeah.
like falls and like hits the wall.
And that was another thing, is that King Kong, when he fell off the Empire State Building, I couldn't be sad about it like I was in the Peter Jackson one, because they do the wide shot and show just like his silhouette falling and he
Yeah.
like bounces off of it.
It's hard to connect with like the puppet as much as it is with like the CG.
The
With
motion capture,
Andy's,
because
yeah,
it's
but because
Andy
it's Andy
Serkis. Yeah.
Serkis, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, I mean, but yeah, I'm so glad you loved it. I loved ET. I definitely can't wait to watch ET again. And do you have anything else to say?
I don't think so. I think that's all I got.
All right, Broen, where can they find us on the internet?
So they can. That's a great, fantastic question.
Here, check
They
this
can
out.
find us.
Check
I
that.
got it. I
Check
got
that.
it. They can find us on Instagram at Flix Capacitor Pod. Find us on TikTok, Flix Cap Podcast, YouTube, the Flix Capacitor Podcast, Twitter, Flix Cap Pod, and of course you can find me on Instagram and TikTok, Broen the Movie Maker. You can find me on YouTube, Broen the Movie Maker. I'm actually starting to. I'm finally doing it. I always said that I was going to do it. I'm finally doing it. I'm actually getting back onto YouTube. So,
Yes.
there's that. Parker, where can they find you?
They can find me at Parker McNerney anywhere. Same with Blu-ray Daddy anywhere. Blue or Instagram, TikTok. You can watch my YouTube if you want. There's not a lot there, but I used to do food reviews during COVID. And Broen, I want to try to hold you accountable because I want to do an episode about it. I want you to at least watch the first episode of X-Men 97. It is. There's only 3 episodes out. The third one came out today. It is so good.
And
if you like, it's like on the same level for me as Spectacular Spider-Man. And you know that I like Spectacular Spider-Man. Not as much as you, but it's like the show
I
so far
will
like
watch it. I'm just having a hard time finding the motivation to turn it on, just because simply I'm not the biggest X-Men fan.
This might change your mind about that, honestly, because there are some epic moments. Like I've never been the biggest Cyclops fan. I love Cyclops now after watching this show.
That's funny because he was always, even though I've never been a huge X-Men fan, he was always one of my favorites.
Just as a character for me, I've never loved him, but dude, like he's like one of the main characters in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite thing about it is they get all the characters right. And it's if you like the X-Men movies, you'll like the show.
Okay. Which I do.
They're like 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
At least watch the first one just so we could talk about it, because I would love to talk, because oh my god, the second episode, dude, it's so good. It's so fucking good. Like the do you know what the premises is?
No.
Okay, premises is so at the end of the last season, and you don't have to see the original show to enjoy this, because I have not seen the original show all the way through.
Okay.
Professor X gets murdered
At the end of the original show?
Correct. And this
Okay.
show is a continuation.
Well, you know what I could probably do? I could probably look up what you need to know from the original X-Men on YouTube.
You don't even
watch.
need to do that. You don't even need to do that. Like, you can if you want to. I think it'd be great, but like, you don't have to. This show like gives you what you need, and then in Professor X's will, he gives the X-Men to Magneto.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. And Magneto's got some baller hair in this show, dude. It's like long and
Well, yeah.
So
because that's how he
dude.
was in the comics for a bit. I don't know if he was like that in the cartoon, but I know he was like that in the comics.
And some of the lines I hear him say, I'm like, oh my god, I would kill to have Ian McKellen do that line. But anyway, yeah, watch it. We'll do like a short on it. It's so we could even have Michael or Shannon on, because Michael is, that's what he and I were messaging about. He is loving the show. So we might have to get a geek buddy or two back on here. But
right.
if you enjoyed this podcast, if you're still here at the end of the episode, we appreciate it. Don't forget to like. We love you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, rate, and share this podcast with your friends and family on your socials to help more people find us. As always, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week with a brand new episode of the Flix Capacitor podcast.
Love you. Bye.
Fuck yeah.